Good morning. It's early in the morning and I've just finished my meditation. Really, meditating is a very simple process. It's a process of sitting down in silence. And it helps us to understand how we work. Because when we sit down in silence, we begin to see that parts of our mind aren't silent at all. They seem to be coming towards us and asking us questions or wanting to do something different or whatever the mind is doing. It is doing everything but being silent. So this is where people start to get frustrated with meditation. They say, well, I tried meditation but it didn't work. My mind just won't be quiet. But really, this was kind of what the Buddha was pointing out, was that when we sit down, our consciousness in the present, when our thinking, or when we sit down in the present, there are parts of our consciousness that are already at work, that we put to work a long time ago, and for that reason they're not under our control as specific as the energy that's in the present. I don't know if it's kind of how to explain that, but let me put it this way. You know how when you have a computer and you have a program running and you're working on your computer, and then in the background you'll have these little things pop up, that these are programs you have running in the background and they're still operating and they're starting to affect you and what you're trying to do in the present. So you have to go back and you have to turn off these programs that are running in the background so that you can work quietly in the present. That's kind of how our mind works, is that we make decisions in the past, and then they were active decisions that affect how we see the world, and then we forget about them, but they're still working. And like, I'm talking about times in the past when we became very fearful of something, or very frightened or very concerned. That these ways of thinking began a long time ago and are operating in the background in a sense. And for that reason, we have to revisit these things so that we can bring them to a rest again. So meditation is a way of sitting silent and then listening to these things that are operating in the background. And in a way, we have to begin to resolve these issues. So really, we are sitting in a world of our unresolved issues, in a sense. These unresolved issues can be issues like not understanding properly. They could be emotional issues like insecurity or some fear or that kind of thing. Those unresolved issues could also be addictions. The need to watch TV, as opposed to do yoga. The addiction to always having to move, to always having to be busy. So these are things that begin to float up. In life, if we allow all these unresolved issues to remain, we live in a conflicted life. But through meditation, we can one by one visit these little things and begin to resolve them, which is a very loving act, to resolve our own unresolved issues one by one in a quiet room. And when we resolve an issue, when we turn around a way of thinking that we started in the past but no longer agree with, or that we no longer find to be a healthy way of thinking, and when we reason with that part of our mind and come to a new conclusion together, that energy will release and come back to the present and be silent. So if we do these resolvings regularly, we will see that our energies will come back to the present, and that they will be silent. And if you do them completely, you will reach the point of the Buddha mind, which is the point of being completely silent, because all issues have been resolved. We cannot find peacefulness in our minds if we have issues, and we cannot ignore issues to solve them. So that's kind of what meditation is all about. It's almost like a tool to measure our neediness by asking ourselves to be silent and then realizing that we can't because we're needy. And then one by one, resolving these needs in a loving, kind way so that we can find peace. And when we can do that on the inside, we can then turn that process outward to resolve issues with others in a peaceful way so that we can produce a peaceful world for us all to live in. So that's really what meditation is. There's not much to teach with meditation, because meditation is the ability to sit silently. And you can sit any way you like. There's no real rules. The course, or the understandings that we're going to talk about, are how to resolve our neediness so that peace can form, and how we can use meditation to find those needs, if that makes any sense to you. So anyways, that's the talk for this morning about how to deal with the inner voices that will come to us in meditation. And maybe tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about how we can deal one-on-one with these issues and resolve them. Anyways, have a good morning, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again.